So do we want to get to the heavy hitter?
Yes, this is the
I'm
one
excited
everyone's
about
talking
this
about.
topic. All right, let's move it on.
Elena? So Elena's gonna bring us up to this one.
All right. So, last week, was it last week? Feels like ages ago. Last week was E3.
Yes. It was ages ago.
So, like a week ago, Microsoft officially announces Xbox One X. So that's their official name now for Project Scorpio, the 4K console. We didn't get any really new information in terms of what's under the hood. Just really the name and the games were the main focus, and the price and the launch date. So November 7th, $500. One configuration, as far as I can tell. So for $500, I mean, you can build a PC, and honestly, you can build a 4K 30 PC. So I decided, just as a fun exercise, I would go through and try to price out a PC and see how low I could get it, given current pricing and what the state of things are right now. And oh boy, people are really interested in that topic.
Is that like a plus interested, or more like they want to?
Well, it was interesting because I wrote it from a very neutral perspective, right? Because I have one foot on like each side of the divide, where I really love the PC. I love what it can do. But I mean, I started as a console gamer and always kind of kept up with that.
I think we almost all started as console gamers. Of course, mine was an Intellivision. So actually, I guess it was an Atari.
Nice.
Speaking of, apparently Atari is going to be bringing back some hardware, TBD.
Yeah.
Weird.
Atari is not Atari anymore.
Oh, I know, but I was just like, really? You guys are still like doing that like death spasm thing? Like, I thought you just kind of given up.
They only exist because of Blade Runner, basically.
Yeah. So hey, real quick, maybe start off with your thinking that went behind this, and then kind of go over the. I pulled it up here too, so kind of step us through what you put in.
Okay, so the one problem with the build is, obviously, since Microsoft uses semi-custom parts, you can't find the exact equivalent off the shelf. So I decided, just for the sake of it, partially for cost and partially it thematically keeps up with it, I went with as much of an AMD build as I could. So I grabbed, for my part list, the FX 8300, which at the time was $90. That is, I mean, on paper, I guess it's an 8-core part, but we all know it's not really an 8-core part.
Well, it doesn't perform like a modern 8-core, yes.
Right.
FX fanboys.
So
it would still beat the pants off of the Jaguar cores.
Oh yeah,
right.
Undoubtedly.
Right. So I mean, when you're putting maybe like a 5-year-old up against a 4-year-old to have a punching contest, it's kind of like, okay, well, that's cute. So FX 8300. Motherboard, I picked the cheapest I could find, and I also did my best to make sure it was actually compatible and wasn't going to fry. And as best as I can tell, that CPU will work with that motherboard if people on forums are to be believed.
It should. It's so the first the ASRock, or the FX 8300, $90, and then the ASRock 970 Pro 3 motherboard, $45.
Yep.
Damn, $45.
Yeah, I mean, there
is
are
that the whole motherboard, or is that just like part of it?
There are build notes in this, so like that. So this is all pricing as of June 15th, which was last Thursday. I published the article on Friday morning. So that $45 price includes, I think, a $10 mail-in rebate or $15 mail-in rebate. RAM, I just grabbed 8 gigabytes of standard DDR3 RAM, 1600 megahertz.
Single DIMM.
For cost.
God, $47
yeah,
for
RAM price is crazy these days.
Yeah.
That RAM stick costs more than that whole motherboard.
Well, the kicker...
It does. It's $47.
And the kicker is that you can get DDR4 RAM for like that price or slightly lower.
Yeah, DDR3 is just because I don't think anybody's fabbing it. It's just like,
I know,
what's sitting around in the
starting
in the
to become like
a
vintage part at this point.
Yeah.
But I did that 8 gigabytes just so that, because it's a PC and you're probably going to be running other things, like I didn't want to hobble it unnecessarily, even though for gaming you're going to be relying on the memory and the graphics card. So that's $47. And then the graphics card comes with a big fat asterisk, because as we all know, it is really hard to get 1080p cards right now. So I picked for the build an RX 580, the 8 gigabyte version. And in theory, if it were in stock, it would be $266 from a vendor right now. But we all know, one, that's not the list price, and two, that's not the actual going price on the street because you can't get them because of miners. So
you can buy them used for $400.
Oh my god!
Oh, it's going up even more since we last talked.
We're gonna save that for after this. Let's get through. I want to get through this parts list.
Yeah. So and then just grabbed a 1 terabyte hard disk drive, $50. Now Microsoft didn't give any details about what type of drive it was. They didn't say if they were sticking with the 5400 RPM drive, if they had gone to a 7200 RPM drive, or if they were taking a page out of their Elite configuration when they released that. It was like a year and a half ago, which had a hybrid drive.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So, and that was like their premium one, which costs like an extra $100 or something. And since this is a $500 console, I could see them putting it in, but there was no confirmation. All there was like in the Digital Foundry like preview that we all read back in April, they hinted at some kind of like 50% more bandwidth. And it's like, what the heck does that mean, you guys? Like, did you change the connector type? Is it now like SATA 3 instead of SATA 2? Or so I just picked, for sake of simplicity, 7200 RPM drive, and I just moved on with my life.
$50.
$50.
One terabyte Caviar Blue. And if you want to read, you can go to PC World. This story's still there.
Yeah. Optical drive, because Xbox One has an optical drive. This is where you have to make a sacrifice to even get close to $500. I went with a standard Blu-ray drive for $43. The next build, the upgrade build, quote unquote, uses an actual 4K Blu-ray drive, and as I'll explain in a moment, it completely like changes the pricing.
Yeah.
And then for the rest of it, I just kind of picked the cheapest things possible that wouldn't potentially blow up the case. So no PSU case combos.
You got ripped off here.
No, these are pretty decent prices. So $35, 550 watt, 80 plus bronze PSU, just like a standard ATX case from a manufacturer that was well known enough that I don't think I'm going to get cut when I'm trying to put parts into it. Because you can go lower, you can go lower, but that's when you start sacrificing actual blood for the cause.
All right, so Thermaltake 550 power supply, and then Thermaltake Versa case.
I mean, Thermaltake's a known name.
So $70, $70 for your case, $69.
So
that's like that's not a budget build. You should like. My feeling is it should be like $25 for case and power supply.
I'm not willing to risk the power supply that you would choose, and I'm also not willing to risk the like bloodshed that is sure to occur. And I have smaller hands, and I still have problems with that. And then finally, OS, we use Brad's technique of getting was it Kinguin? I don't pronounce it. Like Penguin license.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Kinguin.
Another $10 for shipping, because I couldn't find anything that was completely free or didn't qualify for Prime shipping.
Okay.
Total price, not including tax now, and if you were really good with filing all your rebates, $652.
So we think this would give you Xbox One X performance, or close to it, I guess?
Yeah, because I mean, console gaming, they're probably not, they're not going to be able to shoot for anything like high or ultra. So they're playing at normal / medium settings.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get 60 frames per second in every game. So 30 is the bare minimum for what I was going for on this.
I mean, the majority of the cost is the 580. Do you think you could step it down and still try to get
570? Wouldn't cut it.
All right.
Not for 4K.
You could not.
So that's Brad. You're the GPU expert here. That's for a smooth 30 frame rate. 30
Ooh, careful! Someone's going to make that into a little clip.
Smooth,
buttery smooth
30 frames a second experience there.
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at the teraflops, because AMD makes this and it makes the GPU inside the Xbox One X. The teraflops are like 1-to-1 right there. They're basically the same. It's the same kind of experience, and that if you use a mixture of medium and high settings, which is realistically what consoles use, you could hit 4K 30 FPS in the majority of games with a 580. I think. If you go down to a 570, you couldn't. If you go to if you try to spend $200 on a 3 gigabyte GTX 1060, you cannot game at 4K with 3 gigabytes of memory. So,
okay,
even if you pumped it down to low settings.
You could, but then you might as well just get an Xbox One X.
Right.
So, Elena, it's weird. I'm seeing this part list here, but where's the controller?
Oh man.
Yeah. So it's not really that price, right?
Well, here's the thing, and I should have made it explicit in the article, but I wrote it for PC World, and so most people on PC World are PC oriented. They're going to be interested in this from a PC perspective, which means most likely than not, they're going to play with a mouse and a keyboard. So I figured that the point of this build was from that perspective, that you were just building a PC to mimic the performance level of an Xbox One X. And on top of all that, you would still have everything you can do with a PC. But that was like the #1 piece of feedback I got because of course this article attracted a bunch of people who are console fans.
And
so they wanted to prove that their, new thing to rally around is just that much more better.
How is it? Yeah.
Okay, so the Xbox One X gives you a ton of value for your money.
Yeah. That's basically the short of it. Because if you add on the 4K Blu-ray drive to this, you have to completely change this configuration. You have to add in a Kaby Lake processor, either an i5 or an i7, and then you have to change the motherboard. And there's only, I didn't know this until I chatted with Gordon. And this was after I published the article because he was so deep in the weeds with the Skylake X review that I didn't, actually have a chance to really chat with him. And he's like, did you know that Pioneer 4K Blu-ray drive that you put in there is actually only compatible with 3 motherboards? It's like, damn.
for the HDR stuff, basically. You can do 4K Blu-ray on the PC. You just can't do it with the HDR stuff.
Right. And so that's specifically for just watching movies off a disc in HDR. So in order to have that capability to match the Xbox One X, you end up shelling out like another $200-something. So the final build total for that was, I think, like $9 something.
And
almost $300 more, actually.
And keep in mind,
$944.
That is for, if you want to watch HDR, you have to have Intel SGX technology on the motherboard, and that's only going to run through the IGP. So you're not going to be running it on an RX 580, which is another thing that is like, oh. So there's a lot of weirdness to getting, and this is all for the DRM components that's embedded in HDR, in those Blu-ray drives. So
they're very rare. They're very rare in PCs. It's surprising actually how it's like impossible to find a 4K HDR Blu-ray drive.
Yeah, because I mean, the checkoff list to even get the thing to actually run Power DVD, which the new version supports fine. I've seen the demos; it's awesome, but it's like, okay, this is really hard to justify. I will get an Xbox One if I'm going to do that. So sorry.
Side note: there's a lot of people saying they want more. Hardcore hardware videos, Gordon. People are fans of.
Are you serious?
Of the last Ryzen one. But side note, Elena, why not go with a free OS? Steam OS or Linux.
Well, if you want a smaller games library, sure. So I mean, that's the other thing about this build. So this #2 thing that I got as a comment was a bunch of people pointing out that Microsoft obviously gets volume discounts. It's the scale of which they can have these manufactured and like the volume pricing that they get, right? So it's like people kept saying, of course you can't beat or match or beat that price. I don't think that's necessarily true because right now we're in the middle of high RAM prices, higher storage prices, honestly.
Right, there's no SSD in here.
Right. And then on top of that, there's just that, what we're about to get to, the whole like crazy situation with the graphics cards at that 1080p Ultra range.
Yeah.
So I think as we get closer to holiday, this could really change so that by the time like November 7th rolls around, with combination of deals and hopefully better availability, you could match that, honestly.
$500.
I think
at the lower range, as long as you don't want that 4K HDR like disc playback ability, and honestly, being PC gamers, you can do a lot of the 4K HDR stuff through the graphics card as long as you're okay with not doing it through like optical discs.
Right.
So you're set on that side of things. I think it's possible. We'll see.
I think it would have definitely been possible 6 months ago, because 6 months ago or a year ago, you could find 8GB RX 480, the predecessor to this, selling for $200 on sale sometimes. So that would knock $66 off. You could knock, if you don't need the optical drive, that would knock off another $43. That's $100 off. You know, the RAM would have been half that price. So that would have been another $25 off, and you could get damn close to $500. Just right now, it's a really hard time to try to build a budget PC.
Yeah.
Also, another random side note, you know, to play games online, you know, you got to have Xbox Live Gold, you know, and that's, you know, anywhere between $40 to $50 a year.
It's $60 a year.
Well, retail, but yeah, usually you can find cheaper prices. But, you know, on the PC, you don't have to pay for that for online. So, you know, just
so over
little
5
things
years,
here and there. Yeah.
5 times 60. That's
So.
Oh, yeah, and you get Steam sales, and there's all kinds of benefits to being in the PC ecosystem. But that doesn't, I mean, that's kind of a different conversation than the raw hardware discussion.
Yeah. Although I got to say, think about it, even for $650 build, that is a hell of a lot of hardware, even at the inflated prices that it's, you know, we're sort of living in. That's remember $650 used to be IGP and a 400 gig hard drive. You know,
and it was one of your specials with PSU tucked inside.
Well, that's
the Gordon
look.
special.
You could have saved $40 right here if you'd gone with the case power supply combo. The secret there, my secret to the case combo move. That's my signature Gordon move. I pulled that on so many people over the years.
His finisher.
You buy it from a company that you can call and complain to. So a lot of these people have lifetime warranties, but like Rosewell is a house brand for Newegg, and you can call up Newegg and say my power supply blew up, and you know eventually you'll get somebody and they'll replace it.
Eventually you'll get somebody.
Well, you know, it's phone support is not. You're not paying, you know, tier 1 boutique pricing where they come out and they switch your. It's gonna be work to get it, but you can get it replaced. I think it's, you know, it's a good way to really just cut a lot of the pricing off of it.
So here's another good question from Facebook. Steven Lopez wonders, is Microsoft making any profit from the Xbox One X? You know, now that you went through this, what do you think? Do you think they're able to squeeze some profit?
He actually said, I think it was a Business Insider interview, that so they asked him, are you losing money on this? And he wouldn't answer the question. He just said they're not making any money off of it.
Huh.
So that's the most we know.
Which is really good, because in the classic console model, they take it in the shorts for years and years and years on the hardware. I mean, I think Sony's still paying off the PS3, right? It's like 25 years later, they'll still be paying for it. Yeah. Like a 30-year loan for the PS3, I think. That cell processor?
Phil Spencer did note that it's not that way with this particular model. That's not their actual business model for this, that they just plan to take like massive loss on it to push the platform.
Right.
So it sounds like they're close to breaking even, if not breaking even on this at least.
Right. And
that's my feeling. They're right on the line.
Yeah.
And they make the money up in the software. So I mean, for them, it's pretty good for both.
Yeah.
For Sony and Microsoft basically becoming PCs, it's actually been a good deal for them, I think.
And this one, like the Xbox One X, actually like supports FreeSync monitors, and they've been talking about adding keyboard and mouse support over time. So
no, never.
Yeah,
and it's supposed to be VR ready, although they didn't say anything about it at this year's E3.
This could definitely run VR.
Just now. But they haven't said anything about like what headsets they're going to support or whatnot.
And they seem to be still, you know, touting that flag of Xbox games on PC, you know, like PC Anywhere stuff, you know, like I felt like the PC was still getting love, you know, even during this round. We got a guy on YouTube, P Draggy, asks, can you Ethereum mine on Xbox though?
That's a great segue for our next little bit of topic.
I wanted to say something about this before we segue.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Brad.
The most interesting bit of this whole exercise to me is seeing how much it costs between the motherboard and the drive and everything to add 4K HDR playback to a PC. And that makes me like the Xbox One S, the cheap $250 one, that much more.
Yeah, it's $250, I think.
Yeah.
But you can get it for $200 on sale right now.
But wait, let me point this out though. So the RX 580 in here is $266. We know realistically if you can get one, that you have to stand in line in front of the store and get it at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? It's going to cost you $500. But isn't it cheaper because now you can mine with your PC? Like I've seen estimates where they will pay off, like the GPU, your GPU purchase is paid off within 3 to 4 months of Ethereum mining, right?
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's all about return on investment. Yeah, you can make 100, depending on the card. I've seen up to $150 a month.
What? God.
Wow.
Wow.
Recently, because now they're in the middle of that pricing bubble.